Welcome back to the Off Duty Pipe, guys. This is the Midweek Bowl number 2. It's a new thing we started last week. We had bowl number 1. This is just going to be a pick-me-up kind of midweek to get us through the week and celebrate the first half of the week that's done. This has been a week, so if you'll notice, there's no pipe here in front of me, and there's a reason for that. This week started, actually last week, when we were filming Midweek Bowl number 1, kind of behind the scenes there, you guys didn't know about. Everything that could go wrong was going wrong. I don't remember all the details now, which is funny how life does that, because sometimes things that are so important and stressful, we get down the line and we don't realize, like, what was I even upset about? But I remembered that it was a long day. It was a big ordeal. Stuff just kept seeming to go wrong, and we sat down to film Midweek Bowl number 1, and we get everything set up, and the camera was dead. And I think one of the cards that was in, we have several cards we use for storage, but the one that was in was full or something, and we had to find another one, and the battery was dead, so we had to wait. And so this is the Midweek Bowl, but for now, until I get better, I guess, and more comfortable with filming and dropping videos, I don't film these on Wednesday. I don't have time with a full-time job. So I film these on the weekend. They're ready to roll out. So the week rolls on, and stuff that could go wrong was going wrong. There's the reason I'm not piping and don't have a pipe out in front of me right now for bowl number 2 is I had a root canal, an old root canal that failed, and I was eating something earlier this week, and I felt something hard in my mouth, and I was like, and it was that tooth that fell apart, and it didn't hurt because it was a tooth that had been root canal, but it just failed and it came apart. And so the dentist I normally go to wasn't going to be able to get me in until February, like kind of mid to early February. And so I thought, well, that just ain't going to do, because the part that's left of my mouth that didn't fall out is like split and open, and like that's just, even with cleaning it, like it's just asking. I can't chew on that part of my mouth. It was loose. The part that was left was loose. So I found a new dentist and got in last week, and they pulled it. The tooth had already had a root canal. There wasn't anything they could do for it. It just fell apart. Nothing against my first dentist or anything. It just happens. Sometimes root canals fail. So I had a tooth pulled, and when they pulled it, part of the root broke off, or something up there broke off, and it's too close to my sinuses. So they're not going to go up there and scrape it out, they said, because they don't want to mess with the sinuses. So it's just going to have to heal over that. So it's going to have to do a little bit of extra healing. And I'm not supposed to drink out of a straw, spit, or smoke. Yep, so that means bowl number 2 is not a bowl for me, but I don't want dry sockets, so that's fair. So I do have a Guinness. I have this awesome Stein, Stanley Stein, my wife got me for Christmas. It's an awesome Stein, keeping my Guinness cold. So if you're able to smoke and you are enjoying a smoke, settle in, and we're still going to do the video, and cheers. Awesome. So I'll talk about the rest this week. So it started with the tooth, and I guess it actually started with trying to fill bowl number 1. But towards I want to say it was kind of the end of the weekend last week, my laundry room is where my hot water heater is located, and we went back there and discovered water all over the place. My water heater was an 80-gallon water heater. And I guess it was older, and it was in the house when we bought the house. And we've been here almost 6 years. And like I said, it was older at the time, but there was so much sediment in it, and it had rusted through. And it dumped pretty much all 80 gallons on my floor. So the entry to the crawl space, we have a pretty decent sized crawl space, like height wise. I guess it's really not a crawl space. You could store stuff under there, and you have to crouch, but excuse me. But I could hear stuff dripping down there. So I was like, oh man, there was so much water that it dripped like through the floor. So there's some floor damage. And my hot water heater was damaged. So we had to shut it off, shut the water off to it, because it was just going to keep filling and keep dumping water all over the place. So, and thought, oh, okay, that's cool. And I had to finish the work week, so I finished the week, and we had no hot water. And with 2 adults and 4 kids, people got a shower, you got laundry to do. So I was able to shower at work. We have a locker room and a gym and stuff in our building. So I went in before my last shift this week on. Well, I guess it wouldn't have been the weekend we noticed that, because I went in to shower at work. I had a shift Friday. I worked an overnight Friday, and I went in early to shower before my shift. And my wife and kids went to my mom's, and they showered there. And so the water heater came right after the tooth. Meantime, I'm stressed out in my daily routine of smoking a pipe. I can't do. So it really, it kind of threw a curve in there. And so the water heater was jacked up, and so we got to get a new one. Well, I don't have the money to hire a plumbing crew to come in, remove the heater, put a new one in. So it was much cheaper to buy a heater and just put it in ourselves. I have an uncle, God bless him, came by to help me out. He's a maintenance man for some apartment complexes, so he installs and replaces heaters and stuff like that kind of all the time, but at an apartment level. So, but my laundry room is a tight space. Like there's enough room for you to like stand in front of the washer and the dryer, and then all the storage is overhead, and there's a water heater and a furnace. And they're both gas, the water heater and the furnace on the side. So, to get to the water heater, we had to move the washer out. So, move the washer out. Well, let's back up real quick. Before we tried to take the water heater out, we knew we were going to need a new one, so we shut the gas off to it. Well, the pipe that comes out with the gas splits to the water heater and to the furnace. They didn't want to take any chance of gas leaking out, and maybe if you know how plumbing and piping and stuff work, you're probably like, well, dude, you could have just shut off one valve and it would have been fine to still go to the furnace. But I didn't want to take any chance. I don't know how that works. I do not claim to be an expert in that. So we shut them both off. So I woke up, and my furnace obviously wasn't working, and the house was cooled down quite a bit. I want to say it was like 58 when I woke up, which actually felt really nice to me. I prefer that kind of temperature, but yeah, the house had cooled down. So then we moved the washer out, and now we got to get this big 80-gallon water heater out. Well, it had the water connection on the top. We shut the water off to it, but oddly enough, like when you run water, in the sinks or flush the toilet, water would spray out of one of those hoses we just connected, even though I had the water shut off right there at it. And I don't know if it's just filling the pipes for the other parts of the house, and that kind of pushed it out that open hose. I think water normally goes out of the water heater into that hose, and so the shutoff was where it would go into the water, but I think it was just kind of backing out of that hose that it would normally come out of to go into the pipes. And either way, it was spraying water. So I thought, man, can't have that. So I hooked it back to the water heater when we went to bed, and somehow it filled again. Or maybe we just didn't empty it all the way. I don't know. There was so much sediment in it. But so we get the washer moved. We try to get the water heater out, but it's 80 gallons. It's heavy. It's in this tight spot, and the gas pipe's in the way. So we open the drain valve with the water hose on it. It won't drain. Nothing's coming out. We're kind of tapping it with hammers and shaking the top of the water heater, and nothing's coming out. So finally we bust. We're like, screw it. We're just going to break it. So we bust the drain valve completely off, and it still didn't come out. And you could look in there, and there was just so much gunk caught up in there. And so we broke that off, like, with our fingers, putting it in there, putting a screwdriver in there too, I think. And man, water just shot out, and we were not ready for that. You're probably like, well, what did you think was going to happen? I don't know. I was just focused on, like, let's try to get this water heater out of here. So water is, like, rocketing out of this thing. And I'm like, we got to get a bucket or something, because it's going to dump 80 gallons of water again on my floor that I've already got fans back here trying to dry out, and I'm going to have some water damage. So my uncle plugs it with his finger. We go get a bucket, but a bucket's filling up like a normal 5-gallon bucket's filling up way too fast. And it's still shooting water everywhere. So I'm like, put your finger back in it. So he plugs it, and I found this big gray, like, storage tote that I actually, it's an outside tote. Kind of a side story of the tote. I think it's like a 40-gallon tote or something like that, or maybe it might even be like a 60-gallon tote. But it's one of those storage bins that the lid snaps on, and it's gray. And I don't store anything in it. I store stuff under it. So I'm a deer hunter, and I'm cheap. I like to do things myself if I can to save money. So when I bag a buck, I don't get them mounted. I process all my own game, but I like to make Euro mounts, or just the skull mount. And if you've ever done that yourself, where you're picking flesh off and boiling and dunking and in and out of the boiling and trying to scrape and power wash, there's several different ways to do it. I like to do things myself and cheap, and I'm also don't want to put that much time to it. So what I do is I take the head, lob it off at upper neck, and I bury the head in the backyard up just a couple inches on the antlers, and I cover it, and I let nature do its thing. The bugs and everything under the soil, it'll pick a skull clean. And I cover it with the tote, and then I put some stuff like cinder blocks and stuff on the cement blocks on top of the tote, so that animals can't mess with it. We live in the city, so it's not like there's coyotes running around back there, but possums or raccoons or anything like that, I don't want messing with it. So I cover it, I wait about a year, come back, pull it out. It's spotless. Everything's gone. There's no flesh or anything on it. So I ran outside and got my deer head tote, and didn't have a deer in it because I didn't go hunting this year. Just again had a lot going on with life, so I thought I'm gonna take a break. Like, it's something I enjoy was becoming too much of like a chore. So I went and got the tote, And the way the valve comes out of the water heater, I couldn't just set the tote down. It was too tall. So I had to angle it. So I couldn't get the full benefit of what the tote would hold. So I'd angle it. And I got this 5-gallon bucket. And as the tote would get to where it was going to overfill, I would scoop out a big old bucket of water. And I would pass it off to my wife. And she'd run and dump it outside and then run me the bucket back. And we did this until the water heater was drained. So we get the water heater out. And let's back up a little bit. So yesterday we went to get a new water heater because this one's bad. So we go to the Sutherland's nearby, and they're all sold out. They don't have any water heaters. And they don't make them in the size, or they at least don't sell them in the size that I have, which is an 80-gallon. And having teenagers and 6 of us here, 80 gallons sounds like a lot, but when it's time for everybody to shower and you get in the shower, you don't have very much time left with the water. So I was already kind of bummed, like I'm going to have to get a smaller water heater. But in my mind, the biggest size they have is a 50. In my mind, I thought it'll fit right in, won't take, it's going to fit because we have an 80, 50 is going to fit. That's the biggest size they have. Well, they were sold out. I called the store about an hour away, and they had one. And they don't normally hold those kind of things, but they were kind enough to hold it for us at the Sutherland's in Joplin. So they held it for us, and got that picked up, got it back in. We got the water heater drained, got it pulled out. Awesome. Now all we got to do is put this 50-gallon water heater in. It doesn't fit. It's shorter than the 80-gallon, but it's fatter. And so I'm back at man, if something could go wrong this week, it's happening. And on top of that, I can't smoke. So, and I really realized how much I enjoy smoking. And not because I'm addicted and need a nicotine fix, because it's not what it's about. It's about the calm that I get when I sit down with my daily routine and smoke. And I wasn't able to get that, so I was trying to find other ways to slow down, because that's what's great about piping, is it forces you to sit down, slow down. It doesn't matter if you're smoking a 5-minute bowl or a 20-minute bowl. If you're going to enjoy it and you're going to do it, do it to where you're not choo-choo training it, and it's not just burning and filling your mouth with nasty smoke taste, and you're actually tasting the tobacco. It forces you to slow down, and I was not able to get that this weekend, so that was frustrating. So this 50-gallon tank didn't fit, and my uncle who's helping me had some stuff he had to go take care of, and he was going to go do that and come back. So I've got this tank out now. We've got a new tank that we just bought. That, yes, I saved money not hiring a plumbing company to come, replace it, because a plumbing company is they're going to charge you for the new water heater. They're going to charge you for the services on getting rid of the old one, taking it out, and if you're not willing to mess with it, it's probably worth it, because it was a pain in the butt. But I've got it in. I've got my washer pulled out in my kitchen because the laundry room's off the kitchen. I've got this water damage. I've got this tooth missing. I can't smoke a pipe. I got this new tank. It doesn't fit. And the plan is that when he comes back, the spot that the furnace and the water heater are on, it's up on a little lifted step. And behind that is the wall from behind the washer and dryer. On the other side of that wall is our bathroom. And so the wall comes off, there's some dead space between the bathroom wall and this wall, but it kind of comes out at a point. And that corner was keeping the tank from getting in there. So plan was we were going to get a Sawzall and cut away material off this corner, so this tank that's smaller than my other tank that was there will fit there. So he leaves, and now I'm just stressed. I'm like, I got water damage. I had to buy a new water tank. This new water heater, that's, something I'm going to be paying on. And that's, even just buying the tank, to me, that's a big expense. It was almost $1,000. And I'm like, now I have to go cutting into my walls. And I'm not a handy guy. I don't repair things. Like, it's never been me. So I'm like, man, I'm just super stressed. And I still can't smoke my pipe. So while he left, we had to run some errands. So just to get me away from this, that was nice to just kind of take my mind off of it. And I went and shot some content for my other channel. And then we went and did our errands. But so come back. Uncle comes back. And I'm stressing out. Well, we start cutting away at the wall, and is it the prettiest thing in the world? No, but I can patch it and make it round it off, and make it look better later. That's something we can do, but it didn't damage anything. There was, it's not a load bearing wall, and there was like two 2x4s that meet in there at 90 degrees, and we just kind of shaved off from the top to the bottom, and you can't even see it because the water tank covers it, but the hot water heater was able to fit in, and so that was nice. And then we get it in, I'm like, awesome, we got it in, we can hook her up and move on. Well, there's a little fitting that goes into the, I guess, like the main part where you change like the heat, and you have the pilot and the igniter and stuff on it, so that the gas tube, the hose that feeds gas to it, can connect to it. It didn't come with one, and the old one was so covered in like rust and sediment that we couldn't get it off the other one. And honestly, I don't know that I would have wanted to put it on a new one because it was so just gone. It was bad. So it was a little after 7. Lowe's is like 20 minutes away. About 20 minutes, a little over 20 minutes away. And they close at 8. So now I'm like, I'm so close. So we ran to Lowe's. Wasn't quite sure on the size because I couldn't get the other one off. But I couldn't take the water heater with me, so I bought a couple different sizes and thought, well, whatever doesn't fit, hopefully one of them will. I'll return the rest. So one fit. So we got it hooked up, got it on, and it works. And I'm so grateful to have hot water again. The furnace still needed lit. And we take the cover off of it, which was good because I hadn't done that. And it needed cleaned. And me and my uncle are kind of like, well, we don't know how to relight it. So YouTube. And I have a book from, I want to say it's from Home Depot. But it's like, I don't know, it's like this thick. And it's just things that people should know how to do for owning a home. And there was a spot on there for relighting your furnace, and it ended up being pretty easy. We just didn't have to actually physically light anything. I just kind of had to reset it and turn it back on. So that got fixed, and that was nice. Like, awesome, we got that fixed. And so everything kind of just came, like everything that was thrown at me, we got fixed, right? And then my uncle goes to leave, and his car won't start. So jumper cables, jump his car. He made it home. And now I'm inside. I'm like, okay, cool. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, but we fixed it. And I ate dinner, settled down through the night, and I thought, man, this has been stressful. And, I just had dinner, and now it's time for my nightly pipe after dinner, and I realized, can't have a pipe. And I'm filming bowl number 2 of the midweek bowl. And I won't have a pipe. So, if you made it through my whole spill of that, me rambling, hopefully you found some humor in it, because I have found some humor in it. And you probably can relate to having periods of life like that. It's weird how that happens. But we made it through. And I'm hoping, I'm obviously not filming this on Wednesday, like I said, because of work. So I just don't have the time, so I film it early. And then it drops on Wednesday. And I'm hoping maybe I'll get to a point where I'm comfortable enough and I can do these kind of in one take. This one will be not really edited, just done in one take. I want to get to where I'm more comfortable with that, so that maybe I can film them when I get home on Wednesday, but then they won't be released as early, which I don't know that that's really that big of a deal. But if you guys, for the few of you that are watching, if it is a big deal, or if you have suggestions on how to improve that or anything like that, drop it in the comments. If you have a funny story of maybe your week was worse than mine, drop that in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys have been up to, and maybe know that I'm not alone in this chaos that's been going on here. There I go saying again. That's one thing I try not to do. In April, my wife and I are taking our first cruise, and we are going on a Disney cruise. That's something else I want to talk about. Never been on a cruise, neither of us. Nervous to do it at first because I didn't like the idea of being out in the ocean. I've seen the Titanic, I know how that happens. So, kind of got over my irrational fears of, being kidnapped by pirates and having them like, look at me, I'm the captain now, and just sinking while my wife floats away on a door that both of us could have fit on. But got over all that, we booked it, and we decided, you know what, we don't know anything about cruising, but we're going to go on a cruise, and we're going to go without our kids, because we're 34, never been on a cruise, so we're going to go our first one without them. And we're going to go on another one in 27 with them. But it's kind of odd how we went up at Disney. We're not like super Disney people. We have kids, so we watch Disney and we enjoy some Disney stuff. But a buddy of mine I work with, a good friend of mine, on the side does like trip planning, I guess. He's able to sell cruises and stuff. I think he can do it for Carnival, and I know he can do it for Disney, but he's a Disney guy. They cruise Disney all the time since their kids were little, and I guess without their kids. And he pulled me aside and he said, look, there's like different tiers with ships, and you have different crowds on all of them, and like you're not wanting like a party crowd, and you're wanting like I guess a nicer experience, like like the cleanliness of the ship and the quality of like food and stuff and the things that they offer. And he's like, I know it sounds weird, but Disney, they have tons of adults only stuff. Looked into it. There is a lot of adult only stuff, and it looks awesome. We're going to cruise on Disney with our kids in 27, so we thought let's just do it. We're going to go. I have kids, so being on a boat that has kids on it and like stuff geared towards kids, even though, again, there's a lot of stuff that's not geared towards just kids. There's a lot of adults only stuff. There's bars, there's nightclubs, there's trivia nights, stuff like that. There's, silent discos and just all kinds of things. There's adult only lounge and pool areas where kids aren't allowed. Tons of stuff for us to do. So let's just do it. The tier level is a little higher with Disney, so we're like, let's spend the extra money. So we've been paying on that, and we're done. We had one payment left to make, but that's been made, and now we just gotta wait till April, till the end of April to go. And so we're going on this Disney cruise, and my wife and me decided, well, we don't have any like Disney apparel. Well, I found this shirt at Walmart. This like angry Mickey, and I thought, whatever. Let's get that to go on the cruise. We found a Stitch shirt that my wife picked out, and I do. Lilo and Stitch is one of my favorite movies. Like when it comes to like Disney and like, I guess Pixar. I don't even know if that's a Pixar movie, but like Disney and animated like kid movies, and the live action was really good. I liked it quite a bit. So that shirt was pretty cool. But we found this shirt, and it's like angry Mickey. And right before I got ready to film this, I was putting a shirt on because I just had a tank top on because I've been working on this water heater. So I put a clean shirt on, and I thought, what better shirt to show my angriness of the way things have been going, the way I haven't been able to sit down and just find my peace with my pipe and a good blended tobacco. And to kind of gateway into, we've talked about all the negative that did resolve itself. We did get the water heater fixed. Everything's good now. Everything's hooked up. The furnace is working. Water heater's working. Yeah, I've got to spend some more money on the water heater that we had to get, but can't take it with me, and that's just part of life. If you're not rich, spending money, saving money, dealing with money, money's always going to be a part of your life, dealing with it. For us normal everyday people, and so I try not to get hung up on that too much. But all that was done, so I thought, well, I'll put this shirt on. It kind of shows how I was feeling, and it gives me a chance to talk about something exciting, which is the trip. So we're pretty excited about that. We go in April. I'm not flying. We're getting on the boat in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. GPS says it is 19 hours away from our house. I'm going to guess that it will probably take about 22 to 23 hours for us to get there. So we're going to leave the evening. We want to get there a day early to make sure we make it on our boat. So we're going to leave about 4 or 5 at night. We get on the boat the 27th. We're going to leave the 25th. Drive down there. We'll be down there the 26th. Hopefully somewhere between 2 to 5-ish, depending on how long it takes us in the afternoon, which is about normal when hotels let you check in around 4. We'll spend the night there and then get on the boat. So it's going to be fun. I actually like long drives. Should be a good time. But yeah, this has been the Midweek Bowl number 2. No bowl for me. If you guys enjoyed a bowl, please drop in the comments what you enjoyed. Maybe I'll learn of something new I haven't had, and I'll see it and catch my eye, and I'll have to try it. But I appreciate you coming along, doing life with me, hearing me rant and ramble, and laughing at my frustration and pain, hopefully, because I have been laughing at it. Hopefully life's treating you well, and if you've had a hard week, you've been able to see, light throughout it and just kind of laugh at it and, understand that there's always going to be hardship, but life finds a way. We get through it, and it's just how it is. But you don't have to let it bring you down. You can find positives, and you'll come out on the other end. Maybe not the way you want to, but you'll come out on the other end. So, thank you guys for coming along. God bless you guys. Stay lit.